If you're looking for a regular stereo amplifier, the Fosi Audio BT30D Pro is probably not the amplifier for you. This thing is weird. So weird, in fact, that two giant YouTubers with big tech channels both reviewed it and couldn't understand what this thing was for. But that's because when they reviewed it, they didn't use the one feature that makes this so weird. What is that feature? It's the fact that this is a 3-channel amplifier. Now, we understand 2-channel amplifiers and even 1-channel amplifiers. They've been around for decades, but what is a 3-channel amplifier? Well, it's exactly those two things melted into one. It's a regular 2-channel amplifier to power your left and right speakers, and a 3rd channel to power a passive subwoofer. That channel even has subwoofer control. It has subwoofer frequency control and subwoofer volume control right on the front panel, allowing you to blend in your subwoofer to your main speakers flawlessly. And I gotta tell you the truth, together, when you use the system right, and those two YouTubers that didn't see the point of this amplifier did not use that channel. They just used it as a standard 2-channel amplifier. When you use this amplifier for its intended odd purpose, it's kind of spectacular. That's exactly what I did here. I have this connected to my bookshelf speakers and my old school dual 10-inch subwoofer box that I had hiding in my closet for the last few decades. I loved them then, and this amplifier reminds me of how much I still love those subwoofers. This system powered by this amplifier and this alone sounds amazing. Let's be clear, I bought this amplifier with my own money. This video is not sponsored by Fosi Audio. Fosi Audio did not send this to me. I bought this off of Amazon just like you will. So these opinions are my opinions alone. They are not impacted by Fosi Audio in any way. It's a great little odd amplifier. On the back panel, you'll find the two inputs. You've got your RCA inputs and your Bluetooth input, where you screw in your Bluetooth antenna right there, along with a pre-out, so you can connect the signal out of this into another amplifier if you have that need. And it's got 3 sets of binding posts for your left speaker, your right speaker, and your subwoofer out. The front panel has an oversized volume control that moves very smoothly. I have to admit, I would prefer if the bass and treble dials had a notch at the center, so you know where neutral or zero gain or zero cut is. You kind of have to guess. So I would like to see a notch, particularly in those 2 dials. For the subwoofer frequency, just like volume, you're going to adjust volume not based on the number you see on the dial. You're going to adjust volume based on how it sounds. More. That sounds good. Same with subwoofer volume. More. That sounds good. Same with subwoofer crossover frequency. You'll just know what's out. You're not going to set that based on the number that I like. I like 87 hertz. That sounds, no, you're going to dial it till it sounds right. But bass and treble, I like knowing where neutral is. Well, I like knowing I'm not adding or taking away unless I need to. So a notch at center would be nice. To pull off this trick of 3 channels, this amplifier has 2 Texas Instruments TPA 3255 amp chips. One running in BTL mode for the stereo speakers left and right, and the other amp chip running in PBTL bridged mono mode. And that's where you can get these outrageous power spec numbers. If you visit the website, you'll see that this amplifier is rated at 165 watts per channel into the 2 main channels and up to 350 watts into the subwoofer channel. And those are outrageous power specs, and it's really not that realistic, particularly with the power supply that comes with it. If you just click buy now, you're going to get the 32 volt 5 amp power supply, and in reality this amplifier with that power supply is going to get you about 40 watts per channel and about double that into the subwoofer channel, which for me, in this case, with these speakers in this room, that's plenty of power. I really don't need more than that in this room. But this amplifier can take up to a 48 volt 5 amp power supply, and that power supply is needed in order to get the big power from this. But this amplifier also comes with a warning directly from Fosi Audio saying that if you do plan to use the 48-volt power supply with this amplifier, you're going to need to take action to cool this amplifier actively. That is to say, Fosi Audio is admitting that this amplifier runs hot. Now, in my case, with the 32-volt power supply, it absolutely does not run hot. This amp runs cool all day long with the 32-volt power supply. And I think, quite simply, that's why they ship it with the 32-volt power supply. Not even a 36-volt power supply. I suspect that decision's made because even at 36 volt, it probably starts to run a little bit hot. And you can instantly see why. There's no ventilation holes on this amplifier at all. Now, the case itself is the heatsink, which is a smart move. The earliest versions of this amplifier had an internal heatsink inside the case, but that just turned the case itself into a greenhouse. So in the second iteration, in this version, you can see in the bottom that there's two screws holding the amp chip to the bottom of the case. So the case itself now, in the newest version, the case is the heatsink, but there's still no ventilation holes. And let's be honest, this is a tiny little amplifier, so there's very little mass to absorb that heat or dissipate it into your environment. So there's no wonder that if you were going to run a 48-volt power supply on this thing, it would run hot. So hot that Fosi Audio themselves gives you the warning. I have no plans to run this with a 48-volt power supply because it sounds terrific at the 32 volts at the lower 40 watts per channel. But if you were going to, I would consider a passive heatsink mounted to the top properly, not just sitting there. I found this heatsink that's absolutely sized perfectly for this amplifier on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description if you were interested in getting that. Or Fosi Audio themselves recommend cooling fans, which Fosi Audio sells. You can get them from Fosi Audio or just any generic fan from Amazon, which is a great idea. But the question still remains, should you need to put effort or action into cooling off your amplifier? Shouldn't it run at its rated output without active cooling? I don't know. Just be aware. If you're going to upgrade that power supply, you're going to need more cooling. What would I improve on this? In addition to the cooling, if I were an engineer, I would improve the cooling on this, and I would love to see a remote control, at least for volume. I'm a lazy guy. I love to control my volume via remote control. Now, if you're connected through Bluetooth, of course, your phone becomes your volume control. But if you're connected through RCA, you don't really effectively have any volume control. So a remote control would be really nice. Plus, that remote could give you input selection. Now, of the two inputs, you might notice there's no input selector at all on this front face or on the back. There's no way to select your input manually. How the input selection works on this amplifier is by default, you're connected to the RCAs. And when you are connected to the RCAs, there's a little indicator light here right beside the power switch that glows red when you're connected to the RCA input. And Bluetooth automatically overrides the RCA, which is kind of smart. When you connect your phone to it via Bluetooth, the Bluetooth just overrides the RCA input and bam, you're automatically connected to Bluetooth. But other than that, you have no way to manually select which input you want. So an input selector would be nice, so you're not auto-connecting, particularly if you leave the home and come back with your phone and you enter the room with your phone. There's a chance that your phone could auto-connect just by entering the room and overriding the RCA signal, which is be a bit of a hassle. So a manual input selector, even if it was on the back, would be kind of useful. Or maybe other inputs itself. Now, if you wanted an oddball 3-channel amplifier like this, but you needed more inputs, subscribe to the channel. I have another oddball 3-channel amplifier in shipping right now on its way to me. So subscribe to the channel and come back. I'll tell you all about that amplifier in a future video and the extra inputs that one has. So again, if you're looking for a standard 2-channel amplifier, you'd do better just to buy most any other 2-channel amplifier. This amplifier is probably not for you. But if you did have that odd need to run a pair of speakers and a passive subwoofer, and you didn't want to clutter your space by having multiple amplifiers with extra wiring between them, this solves all that, and it solves it brilliantly. For that application, this thing is magical, and I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.